Hello, it's Moses here, and appreciate you taking a minute and listening to me, because of course I know you don't have to, because I also understand that people are busy, they have things to do, uh, and who knows, you might find me boring, I don't know. But I did want to approach a subject that's kind of near and dear to my heart, having spent the better part of 50 years in that particular profession, and that's sales. I know a lot of people are, at least it seems to me in conversations over the years, that for some reason people have gotten this preconceived notion about salesmen. You know, most salesmen are just people like you, just like a mechanic, just like a plumber, an electrician, uh, a doctor, a lawyer. They are pursuing a profession that without it, nothing's ever going to happen. And let me explain why that's the case. And, and I'm also going to say, and I want to bring this up right now, this is not going to be a lecture about why you should love salesmen, okay? My kids, through the years, always accused me of lecturing, and so I decided, well, you know, to me it wasn't lecturing. I was just trying to give them advice, trying to help them as far as getting along in life. Well, I got to thinking, well, I wonder why some people think a lecture is a bad thing or a boring thing that they didn't really want to listen to, which is probably the case of my children and most children. They don't really want to listen to what their parents are saying. But hey, you know, so I looked it up in Webster's, and basically a lecture can either be a formal explanation of a subject, it can be long, or it can be a reprimand. And I have a hunch that's kind of the way the kids looked at it. It was a reprimand, but in a lot of cases it wasn't. Uh, it might have been couched in a situation in which, you know, they did something, or some of their friends did something, or something happened, and we had a discussion about it. At least for me, it was a discussion. I guess for them, it probably always wasn't. But anyway, and I think that's, you know, kind of a way a lot of people view quote unquote salesmen or salespeople. Now, there is a couple of differences in the environment that you are exposed to salespeople. You know, I've actually probably done most every form of selling that there is, uh, other than doing doing commercials like a video, like I'm doing right at the moment as far as talking on a video, but to actually produce a commercial like you would see on television. That I've never done. I didn't sell advertising on television. However, I did sell advertising and produce commercials for radio. I also was not an insurance salesman, although I actually became licensed as an insurance salesman, but I never actually practiced that particular profession. Uh, but I did actually become a direct salesman, going door to door, talking to people, you know, knocking on doors. And sometimes, to be honest, I think that's probably one of the sales professions that a lot of people get frustrated by, when somebody comes to your door and starts to give you a pitch about something, okay? They could be great products. You know, I think that's one of the reasons an awful lot of people don't like insurance salesmen, is because insurance salesmen a lot of times comes to the door. Uh, so, you know, the different forms of selling are still basically one person giving the other person a reason to purchase whatever it is they're selling. So it's an exchange of ideas. Now, everybody has the opportunity to say no, or they can say yes. I don't think any of us like the pressure salesman, the one that just will not take no for an answer. And you know, to be honest, there are a number of companies, a number of successful salesmen who have proposed that kind of selling. I kind of always preferred the selling of, number one, finding out what the person is all about. You know, the products that I was selling in some cases were not a physical product, but an idea or a service. I have sold physical products. I've sold where I've only had, you know, I go through the door, I go through the pitch, I go through the objections. The customer has to make a decision then, and then you walk out the door. I've also sold, and for the last 30 years really, sold to businesses, sold physical products that we serviced and took care of, and had the same customers for some of them for 30 years. So what I'm getting at is selling is not a bad thing. Selling is a process, and that's really what it is. It's a process where one person is feeding the other person information with the idea that you will want to possess either the service or the product, one or the other, and therefore you will either say yes or you will say no. But what it really comes down to is you are the person who makes the final decision. So you are always in control of the situation as the buyer. And as a salesman, I'm just telling you, you are the one that's in control. And if I, as a salesperson, have not given you enough reasons to want to take part or purchase whatever it is that I'm selling, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whether it's a suit, you know, whether it's insurance, whatever it is, whether it's a piece of software on the internet, that choice is always yours. And particularly on the internet, that choice is always yours, because let's face it, you hit a button and that person is no longer there. So sometimes it helps to listen to some things just so you have a better perspective about what goes on in life. And those who serve will get the sales. And so, you know, this is a real short one, but I really just wanted to bring that out, that you know, probably one of that's gotten the, I think, kind of in some cases a deserved, but also in some cases a bad rap, and that's used car salesman. But I think in a lot of cases people just use that, saying they're, oh, you know, he's a used car salesman, to basically put him down as a salesperson, that he, you know, he's selling something, he's lying to you, so to speak. And I'm sure in a lot of cases, or, well, I don't know, even in a lot of cases, but I do know in many cases, they do lie to you. But like I said, and you need to keep this in mind, I truly believe it. And again, this is not a lecture, I'm just suggesting that you always have the final word. You can either say yes or you can say no. If what that person is talking to you about and wanting to convince you to purchase, and you don't resonate with it, then just say no. And if he comes back with another but, just, you know, just say, no, I'm not interested in what you have to sell. I'm not going to purchase it. I thank you for bringing it to me, but no, I'm not going to purchase it. And you can hang up the phone, you can close the door, you can push the button on your computer, your phone, whatever, and the conversation is over with. But one thing you don't want to do is don't ever let the person, particularly on the other end of the phone, don't ever let that person argue with you or try to browbeat you or put you down for not buying their product. The instant somebody does that, hang up, don't argue with them, just it's over with. Anyway, that's just my thought for today. I hope it's helpful. And if you've taken the time to listen to it, I do truly appreciate it. I do have a YouTube channel, which is Moses Global Wealth. And I'd sure appreciate you subscribing to my channel. I try to bring a little bit of information at least once, twice a week. And a lot of times I will be talking about different kinds of investment opportunities, not particularly ones that I represent or anything else, but simply different things that you could potentially grow your wealth with. So anyway, thanks again very much for your time. Have a good rest of your day. God bless.